How's it going, guys? It is Dark Ops here, and today I'm bringing you part 2 of my ranking tier list. So if you want to go see the zombies section, I'll leave a link in the description. But this is going to be covering every Call of Duty multiplayer from S tier to F tier. I decided to simplify it a bit because upon recording this a couple times, I found myself struggling where I wanted to put certain ones. So instead of naming them individually, I'm just going to have it like S to F. Everybody knows what it is, and irrelevant for these games because I just don't know where I would put them. And these servers are dead too, so we can't even rank those. And Warzone is dead for that matter. I made a video on that. So we can't really talk about these ones, but everything else here will be ranked from F to S. So if you enjoy, leave a like, and let's get into part 2. So Modern Warfare 2019 started off. What a game. It did a lot right, but at the end of the day, I'm going to say the same thing I always say. The maps are terrible. And when the maps are that bad, it can sometimes overcome any innovations you have, but there's no denying that the engine in here is amazing, and the gunplay is great. The gunsmith, incredible. So just talking about multiplayer alone, I think I could put it in B. So I think this, just by itself on the multiplayer, I think is B. It's very, very good, but the maps hold it back, and the battle pass system, I'm not a huge fan of. I would rather we have a different system, but regardless, I think it's a solid B. So here we go, B tier for Modern Warfare 2019. And then we go all the way down to F with Infinite Warfare. Infinite Warfare is just everything about this, but worse. Okay, we have supply drops, fucking garbage. Like, the Battle Pass I complained about a little bit, which I think is fine now in Modern Warfare 3 and Modern Warfare 2. But in this game, the supply drops are bad, okay? The maps are bad. The gunplay is really, really meh. There's nothing good about this game, okay? The multiplayer in this game is terrible. The only thing carrying it maybe are the remasters, and that's it. It's just fucking terrible. Awful multiplayer, and I'm never going to play this multiplayer ever again. It's so, so bad. On the other side, we have the remaster of Modern Warfare 4, or COD 4. So I think I could put this one in A tier. It has good maps, it has good gunplay, just a lot of nostalgia with this Call of Duty, and I think the multiplayer here is really solid here. If you disagree, just remember that this is like the holy grail, right? This is what we got until Black Ops 1 and World at War. So this is like the holy grail of OG Call of Duty multiplayer. So I think it's a solid A. And the remaster helps it a lot. Modern Warfare 3 is probably C. The maps are a lot about this multiplayer is just average, okay? The average multiplayer, just average maps. It does introduce leveling up and ranking though, I will give it that, and the prestige system is great. But unfortunately, it just isn't special and makes it a very forgettable experience. So C tier, for multiplayer wise anyway. Black Ops 2 can go into A tier if we're just talking multiplayer. The maps are solid, the gunplay is solid, everything about this is solid. I just don't know why I like it worse than Black Ops 1. I think Black Ops 1 is the best, but Black Ops 2 is very solid as well. I think it's solid A tier for multiplayer. It does a lot right. The maps are some of the best, even though the DLC maps are pretty poo-poo. But disregarding that, I think it's a solid A tier experience. If you want multiplayer, Black Ops 2 is a great choice. Advanced Warfare, fucking D tier. It is just, it has slightly better maps than this, slightly better gameplay, but everything worse than Modern Warfare 3. So D tier, it's just forgettable. The multiplayer is just average at best. So I could put it maybe in C tier, but I just never play it. It's just so average, okay? So just don't, okay? Just don't play this, okay? Play anything above it. It's just so average. And speaking of that, let's put Ghost in here as well. It's just like, these gods you could literally skip like as filler years, okay? They're filler, you do not play them, they are boring, they have nothing to offer in multiplayer wise, so just forget about them. Maps are not good, just completely forget them, okay? Both D tier, and that's being generous. COD World War II, we finally get back to a good COD. We can put it in A tier. Again, holding it back are bad maps, and the launch of it was not very good. Okay, launch World War II was not good. But disregarding that, the post-patch is great. Post-patch World War II is one of my favorite CODs for multiplayer. It does a lot right. The contract system is so much better. It's like a mile ahead of anything before Black Ops 4. So it is very strong A tier, and I couldn't argue otherwise to save my life. Just, I love the war mode as well. Just very well-rounded Call of Duty multiplayer. And if it was done better, I think it could have gotten S tier even. So, yeah, A tier. And same goes for Black Ops 4. Black Ops 4, the only thing holding it back, I think, for me, is that it's just not very, like, the most important thing in this game. Because this game, if there's anything about Black Ops 4 that you'll know about it, it's content. It has a ton of content. But I don't think Black Ops 4's multiplayer is where they focus a lot of their attention. So it just feels kind of whatever. But I do enjoy the gunplay as always. The operator mods are also great to have. And the crate system is great to have as well. You can unlock any weapon you want for free. So solid A tier, but not exactly my favorite, but it's still very, very strong. Black Ops 1, we're finally going into the S tier. Black Ops 1 just does everything right. It has great maps, it has great gunplay, it has a great leveling up and wager system. There's nothing wrong about this one. This one has it all. Black Ops 1 has all the things you would want in a great multiplayer experience. Black Ops 1 is just like S tier, not just for multiplayer, but in every way, except for zombies. So S tier, love Black Ops 1 multiplayer. Black Ops 3 multiplayer, on the other hand, is fucking average.
You what?
Okay, hear me out. I know the fanboys are gonna go crying, but hear me out, right? Half the weaponry in this game is locked behind a loot box. A loot box system or a crate, those are all the weaponry in there, okay? Most of the fun weapons in there, you have to get through that, and that will take you hours. That will take you fucking weeks to do because of how the contract system works in this game. So I cannot argue that it's anything above this when at least you can earn your way to get these weapons. Here you have to fucking buy that shit or just play for years on end with no breaks. The way the systems work, the supply drops work in this game is terrible. It holds back any goodwill it would have had. And the maps aren't even all that special either. Like, Skyjack is probably my favorite map in this game, I'm just gonna be honest. So it's just fucking C tier. Like, oh my god, the supply drops in this game hurt my soul. Modern Warfare 2, A tier, again, it's just very unbalanced is the thing. It has a lot of good maps, and I'm tired of people saying it doesn't. It does. Modern Warfare 2 maps are great, but it's just unbalanced with Last Man Standing and all that bullshit. So with that in mind, I think it's A tier, but it's just barely there. The maps hold it up. The gunplay and customization holds it up. But unfortunately, it's just not balanced well enough for its own good and makes it an overpowered madness game if you want to play that. So it's gonna go in A, but just barely. World at War is fucking broken. It needs a patch immediately. Please, Treyarch, patch this game. It does a lot right in the multiplayer department, but it's just, again, it's broken. Like, if I were to go back now, it's just completely broken. It's laggy. It needs a remaster. Like, without a remaster, it's just not going to play well. So I'll put it at the top of D just because of the fact that it's almost unplayable these days. Like, we need a remaster of World at War so we can truly appreciate it. Because right now, it's just way too hard to play without getting hacked or just with servers running as shitty as they are. So fucking D tier. For now, anyway. If they do release a remaster, we'll redo this. But as it is, it's like top of D. Cold War is also gonna go like mid. Like, every goodwill about it is held back by skill-based matchmaking and some of the worst maps in Call of Duty history. The maps in this game are fucking abysmal. Fuck the multiplayer design team on this one. The maps here were terrible. But that being said, if you're playing on a BO2 map, you can have some fun. If you're playing Gunfight, you can have a lot of fun. But SBMM and the terrible matchmaking, and also the terrible maps just make this so much worse than it has to be. And not to mention that the gunplay is worse than Modern Warfare. So yeah, C tier. It's just fucking average at best. Vanguard, on the other hand, gets way too much hate for its multiplayer. The maps are solid, the gunplay is solid. The only thing holding it back was that the content system in this game wasn't very good. A lot of it felt like they were holding back to add the next season, and a lot of the characters don't make sense either. Oh, and there's a lot of latency as well. There's a lot of bugs with this game, but disregarding that, it's a very strong multiplayer, and I think I'd put it in A, if not for a lot of the latency issues that I still encounter to this day. So, B tier, but I think it could go in A at some point down the line. Modern Warfare 2, a lot of people hate, but I actually heavily disagree. It improves upon Modern Warfare in every way. The only thing it doesn't is that the battle pass is a little weird. The way you unlock attachments is a bit weird. I don't know where this one goes. This one is probably just going to go above these two, but just barely. But that's not saying too much considering these are all pretty much the same era until Modern Warfare 2. So, like, B tier I think is fitting. Maybe A tier? No, if we're just talking multiplayer side, I guess it's B tier. And then Modern Warfare 3 2023 is A tier easily. The maps here are obviously just from Modern Warfare 2, but even then, the ones that they've added have been a lot of fun. Meat House has been fun. I've been playing a lot of the multiplayer maps from earlier in the season, so I don't know all of the new details, but this is a very well-rounded multiplayer, and you are doing yourself a disservice if you haven't played it. It is very, very good, and shout out to Sledgehammer for making this multiplayer as good as you did. I know you had to work on Vanguard straight to this, so that must have been hell and a half, but this was a great multiplayer, and I can't wait to keep playing more. So this is my tier list. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, and also maybe consider hitting that subscribe button. Maybe you agree with me and think Black Ops 1 is the GOAT, which it is, and I will not argue otherwise. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, slap that like button. I just slapped my table. That fucking hurt. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Dark Ops, out.